From now on, when I sneeze, I'll try to sneeze more friendly.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to this edition of Connect with Me, live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Today, a public health warning. It's about a mosquito that health officials are worried about. They're worried it's going to bite you and spread a disease. 436-ME-TV. Remember, folks, turn down the sound on your television. If you're going to call in, hit option 11. Back in a moment. Ask an Expert Day here on Connect with Me on Me TV Fresno, and you may want to call in on this one, but remember, turn down the sound on your television or we will not be able to hear you when you call in. 436-ME-TV, hit option 11 as quickly as possible. You know, anytime you hear the two words yellow fever, it sends a ripple across the land of panic, 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 panic. Well, we are talking about yellow fever. We're talking about a particular mosquito that has everybody up in arms right now. Although it's not spreading yellow fever in this area, we don't want to send too much of a panic, but more of a warning, I would say. Let's go to the picture. We have a picture of this mosquito that we're talking about. The yellow fever mosquito has been spotted in two areas last month near a cemetery in Madera, and most recently in a neighborhood near Shaw and Temperance in Clovis. Now, all the experts right now are saying that this yellow fever mosquito is aggressive. It bites primarily during the day, but it can also activate around dusk or dawn. It's dark brown in nature or black, and it has a distinctive white marking all over it. Now, keep in mind the female can lay up to 200 eggs several times during the mosquito season, and it spreads diseases such as yellow fever, dengue, and several viruses that can cause encephalitis. Live in our studio right now is Steve Mulligan. He is of the Consolidated Mosquito Abatement District, and he's here to take your phone calls and ask any questions if you're in a panic mode, have read about this in the paper, have heard about it on television or perhaps radio. Steve is here to calm the waters a little bit and tell you what the real story is as far as the yellow fever mosquito is concerned. The number here is 436-ME-TV, option 11. Remember, though, turn down the sound on your television when you call in and ask your question. That way we'll be able to hear you. It's Ask an Expert Day. You call in and ask our expert the question. Back in just a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Welcome back. No need to panic, at least yet. We're talking about a yellow fever mosquito. Steve Mulligan here is from the Abatement District. Thanks for coming in. Hey, it's been a while since we've seen you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I appreciate the opportunity to come back.
Oh, thanks, Steve. You're a good guy. Well, we had a phone call there. Let's put up the map on the screen. It's the infestation map. I want you to tell our viewers what they are looking at right now, and you can see it right up there.
Okay. This is a map of our website. It's on our website. It shows the area in green. That this is an area where we have picked up the presence of this mosquito, Aedes aegypti mosquito.
That's the yellow fever mosquito.
Yellow, the common name yellow fever mosquito or dengue mosquito.
So the green again is where you've spotted these mosquitoes.
This is an area where we know that this mosquito is in this area. The red dots are actually places where we set traps, collected them. The blue area on the perimeter is what we consider the containment area. We're doing additional trapping, getting information out so that people become aware that this mosquito might be around, and if they notice mosquito that bites during the day, we ask that they contact the district, and so we can go out and set some traps.
So the purple is the containment area. The green area is where you've spotted the mosquitoes and have actually captured some of them, right?
Correct. Yeah, we've either collected adults or the immatures at those locations.
Right. Okay. So this mosquito, and I asked you this earlier, maybe you can tell our viewers, how do you know if you've been bitten by one of these things? I mean, I know it's either dark brown, as I said in the monologue, or black, and it has the white all over it. But once you're bit, and that thing flies away, you have no idea if you've been bitten by this thing. So how would you know if you were bitten by the yellow fever mosquito?
Well, you wouldn't know unless you could collect it and turn it into us. The important, you wouldn't know one mosquito bite from another. What's important is the time of day that they're biting. These mosquitoes bite during the daytime. They're most active in the morning after sunup and right before sunset, but they are biting during the day. Other mosquitoes that we have are more active at night, so they're biting during the evening from dusk until dawn.
But this one primarily bites during the day.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. And that's the thing. If you're out by the pool during the day and you're bitten by a mosquito at, say, high noon, the chances are it could be the yellow fever mosquito.
Right. It's a very secretive mosquito. Sometimes you may not notice it. It bites around the ankles. And again, the activity is around just before sunset.
Take a call here, Steve. Good morning. You're on with Steve Mulligan. What's your question?
Hello. My question is this. I have a couple of cows, and I have a water bin for them, and the water stays fresh. It's constantly, replacing itself. When the cows drink, it replaces. Is that a problem for these mosquitoes?
Okay, it's if the water is replaced at least a couple of times a week, it's not a problem. If you have pets and you have water dishes for them, we ask that you empty them and refill them at least twice a week. When you empty them, you can wipe them down to clean them out, refill them. That gives fresh water for your pets, and it also prevents mosquito production, because these mosquitoes takes about 7 days to develop from the egg to the adult. So dump out the water and replenish it with fresh water.
Okay. And as far as the cows, they drink it daily and it gets replenished daily. I clean it out about twice a month, because sometimes they put stuff in there, but I've never seen any larvae or anything. So
twice a month is not enough. Yeah.
Cows?
Yeah.
No, twice a month is what I do.
Okay.
I empty it out.
I'm sorry. So this is a livestock trough, water trough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And what you can do is you can call the local Mosquito Abatement District. Our number will be up there, or you can go to the website and give us a call. And if you're in the district, we can come out and we can stock that water trough with mosquito-eating fish. It's mosquito fish. It's a small guppy that we can stock, and we can put in that water trough, and they will actually eat the immature mosquitoes.
Yeah, there's the website up there now. It's called mosquitobuzz.net. Put that number back up so people can see. It's 896, of course, 1085 to call the abatement district if you have any questions or problems. And the problem is, you're talking about a trough or perhaps a dog bowl or a cat bowl. Okay, you're talking about standing water. Let's put up on the screen problems that you can have with, say, a bird bath, for example. Let's put that up on the screen, and you can talk about all the various, there's the bird bath right there. How often does that need to be cleaned out?
Well, again, that should be cleaned out at least a couple times a week. You could flush it out with water and replenish it, and the more often you replenish it, then you're giving fresh water to the birds. This mosquito, this Aedes aegypti mosquito, yellow fever mosquito, it lays its eggs in containers, small containers or larger containers in backyards. So any type of...
The size doesn't matter.
The size doesn't matter. That's why it's important that you go around your yard, empty out any container that does not need to have water, discard it, If you have containers where you want to maintain water, then empty or refill or flush out twice a week.
Okay, yucky swimming pools. We've all seen those green swimming pools. Let's put them up on the screen. We've got 2 pictures. This is a major problem around the Central Valley, is it not?
It is, particularly because of from the downturn of the economy, foreclosures. There's a lot of houses that have pools where the people are not maintaining them. And once they're not being maintained, then they develop algae, and it becomes attractive to mosquitoes to lay their eggs.
Why does it attract mosquitoes? Why does the algae-borne water?
Well, algae or microorganisms, they serve as a food for the developing mosquito larvae. So,
okay. That's where they lay their eggs?
They lay their eggs, and we have a couple different, the West Nile mosquito that bites during the evenings, lays a different type eggs on the surface of the water. The Aedes aegypti lays its eggs on the above the water on the container itself. But both can actually lay their eggs in these unmaintained swimming pools.
All right, I want to clarify, because a lot of people are asking the question out there right now, perhaps watching this. 436-ME-TV, option 11, turn down the sound on your TV. If you are bitten by one of these yellow fever mosquitoes, does that mean you're going to get yellow fever?
No, it does not. We do not have locally transmitted yellow fever here, nor dengue, nor chikungunya virus. These are all diseases, viral diseases, that can be spread or carried by this type of mosquito. We don't have them here in this area. However, we do get imported cases of dengue, people picking it up in dengue and endemic areas on travel and coming back.
Third world countries.
Right, or in other countries of the world, Caribbean, Southeast Asia. And if they come back with an infection, in the past it didn't matter because we didn't have the mosquito that can carry it. Now we do. And if a person comes back with an imported case, we can now have local transmission. That's why it's important for us to try to eliminate this mosquito so it doesn't
Another call, Steve. Good morning, you're on with Steve Mulligan. What's your question?
Yeah, I recycle, so I have like aluminum cans, beer, soda, plastic bottles. Is that a problem too? Should I be cleaning that out?
Anything that can hold water, and we've found actually...
Even if that container has a lid?
No, if it has a lid, the mosquitoes can't get in. But what you want to do is make sure, since you're recycling, empty it out. If you empty these containers out so that there's no water in it, you don't have to worry. The mosquito will only lay its eggs above the surface of the water on the container. So if there's no water, there's no worry.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're with Steve Mulligan. He's from the Abatement District, taking your phone calls, 436-ME-TV, option 11, turn down the sound. We're talking about the yellow fever mosquito. Although it can't, if it bites you, you won't necessarily get yellow fever. But your questions are important. We're back in just a moment on Connect with Me.
It's time to play the Hi Bob game. Simply watch the Bob...
Howard, I wanted to hear what that lady said.
As I was saying, simply watch the Bob Newhart show and count how many times people say, "Hi, Bob."
Well, why don't we start things off?
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon.
Sorry, try again.
Darn it.
Everybody loves the Hi Bob game.
This is the greatest game I've ever seen.
Weeknights at 10:30, 9:30 Central on MeTV.
All right, back with Steve Mulligan from the Abatement District, talking about mosquitoes and spreading West Nile, yellow fever, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, these mosquitoes, they breed in open containers such as this, right, Steve? Let's take a shot of these if we can on the desk. That's a flower pot, of course.
This is a flower pot. You'll notice there's a hole in it, so with the soil, the water will go through but then they have dishes underneath them. So if you water your pot, it collects the water collects in the dish underneath, and the mosquitoes will be attracted to this water and will lay eggs on the above the water on this dish. And then the next time the water comes up and hatches the eggs, then you'll be producing these Aedes aegypti mosquitoes.
All right, you got a pie pan here too.
Yes, this is a pie pan. We actually were at a residence. Somebody had put snail bait in a pipe pie tin to kill the snails. Unfortunately, it was next to a sprinkler, so it also collected water, and the dead snails in the water attracted the mosquitoes, and we found immature mosquitoes in that pie tin. So any type of a container that can hold water will be attractive to this mosquito to come in, lay their eggs, and then the next time the water covers the eggs.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about right there. Look at that. The snails, the dead snails, and the water collecting and attracting the mosquitoes. And of course, there's the plant, the pot right there. Of course, below you've got that dish and you can see the water in it.
Exactly. And so in that one, there were actually larvae in the mosquito larvae in the dish.
Amazing. And there's another one that's really unmaintained. It should be emptied out and cleaned or thrown in the garbage can.
Thrown away. If you have these containers in your backyard that you're not using, that's just collecting water, you don't need, discard them.
All right. What's going on here? That's somebody from your district, right?
Yes, it is, and it's emptying a container. This was just a pan that collected water probably after the rain or from a sprinkler, and it had mosquito larvae in it, so we inspected the property and we're dumping that out.
Yeah. How did you discover the yellow fever mosquito in the Central Valley? The first sighting was in Madera near one of the cemeteries over there, and then the second was we put up the map in Clovis. How did you find out about these mosquitoes and when?
Well, we did not suspect that this mosquito was here. This is the first time this mosquito has ever had breeding populations in California. It's never been in California before.
So in other words, it's not a native of California.
It's not a native. It's not a native of California. It's an exotic and it's an invasive species. We got reports from an individual, a resident, who complained about mosquitoes biting. Okay. And so we went out to
during the day, I assume.
Well, they were during the day. Sometimes the people aren't sure when they're biting, so we go out there and some traps were set up. We couldn't see anything. We set some traps up, and the next day we came back, and lo and behold, we had this new mosquito that was entirely new to us. That happened in Madera, and it happened in Clovis as well. So it was a request from the public for service. And we're asking actually the public to let us know if you notice mosquitoes, day-biting mosquitoes, give us a call, because we want to know if actually this is more widespread than what we know right now.
Right, and that phone number again should be on our screen. It's 896-1085. You can give Steve a call or any of the people that work with Steve over at the Abatement District. Let's put up on the screen one more time the graphic, the mosquito-borne diseases. Let's talk about those for a minute, Steve. We've already talked about yellow fever. Dengue. What is dengue?
Okay, dengue is a virus. Dengue fever. It's a virus that's spread by mosquitoes, and actually,
is it like yellow fever?
It's similar. It's in the similar. Similar to the yellow fever, and actually, this is an emerging disease. It's spreading. Yellow fever is not common. Dengue is very common in tropical areas. And the Aedes aegypti, or yellow fever mosquito, is the primary carrier for that.
So you wonder why they're here, because this is a dry climate. It's not tropical. Yeah. We don't have a lot of humidity here, like, say, Florida or perhaps Texas or the East Coast. Why here?
Well, we did not anticipate, because historically we've never had this species here, so we didn't.
So why now?
It came in somehow. We're not sure. We're trying to determine.
Somebody transported this thing in, or
possibly it could have come on a pot that was carried in, a pot that was sold that had eggs in it, and then once the person flooded that, so we're not sure exactly how it came here.
What's the next one we've got there? The third one down.
Chikungunya virus. It's another virus in the same family of viruses as yellow fever and dengue, and it's spread by Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. Okay. It's in the Indian Ocean area and Mediterranean. It's spread to the Mediterranean area, and it could, we could get an imported case here.
And encephalitis, that's related to the West Nile?
Right. That's a symptom of some of these some of the viruses that are mosquito-borne can cause encephalitis, and there's a couple types that we have mosquito-borne encephalitis viruses here. We do have potentially St. Louis virus and Western equine encephalitis, but right now the biggest concern of a virus that is actually here is West Nile virus, and that can cause encephalitis.
Right. And how many cases do we know of right now in the Central Valley of West Nile?
Well, this year there's been 2 cases in Fresno County reported human West Nile virus cases.
Fatal? Anything fatal? Not yet.
There was a fatal case in Sacramento.
Okay.
But none in Fresno County this year. Since 2004, which was the first incidence of West Nile virus in Fresno County, we've had about 200 cases and 9 fatalities. Statewide, we've had about 4,000 cases and about 130 fatalities. And in the United States, we've had about 37, since 1999, about 37,000 cases, 1,500 fatalities.
Not good.
So.
Don't like to hear those numbers, but unfortunately we have to deal with it. We're talking with Steve Mulligan from the Abatement District here in Fresno. And the number to call in if you're worried about mosquitoes, hey, maybe your neighbor has just a swimming pool. It's not being maintained, you know, or perhaps a foreclosed house and the swimming pool has not been maintained for months on end and it's attracting mosquitoes. You need to call Steve, and that number is, let's see, can we put that up on the screen real quick one more time? I believe it's 896-1085, and our number here to call in and ask Steve a question is 436-ME-TV, option 11, turn down the sound. Back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready steam equipped, high efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Back here with Steve Mulligan of the Consolidated Mosquito Abatement District, and his number is 896-1095. Isn't that the number? 1085. Yeah, 896-1085 is the number. But our number to call in if you want to ask a question about mosquitoes. The yellow fever mosquito has recently been discovered, of course, in Madera and Clovis. Our number here is 436-ME-TV, option 11. Remember, though, turn down the sound on your television set. All right, I want to put up some pictures on the screen of some traps that you guys set up to try to capture some of these mosquitoes. And there's one of the traps right now. What are we looking at?
Okay, that's a BG Sentinel trap, and that was specifically designed to collect this Aedes aegypti mosquito. And it's very attractive.
How does it work?
There's the canister, the black canister on the top, contains dry ice, which produces carbon dioxide, which is an attractant. It also has some lures that are inside that yellow bag that are specific to attract these mosquitoes.
And they go right into the yellow bag there?
They go into that white bag.
Or the white bag, yeah.
And then there's a fan and a collecting bag inside of that. So when they come in, they're attracted to the lure and the carbon dioxide. They're sucked into the bag, and then we can collect it. We set it out in the afternoon and collect it later in the morning.
And how many mosquitoes would you say that you might collect in any one given afternoon?
That varies. We don't have a lot of experience with the Aedes aegypti, but we have collected up to about 50 mosquitoes with this one of the Aedes aegypti in an area.
Man.
Usually it's just not more than a couple.
Put up another trap. There's another one hanging from a tree, right?
Right, and this is our standard carbon dioxide baited trap. Again, that we have dry ice in that black canister, and the mosquitoes are attracted to the carbon dioxide because any animal that respires gives off carbon dioxide, and that attracts the mosquito. When it gets closer, it's sucked in on a fan and it's collected down below.
And another one on the ground?
This is important for surveillance of the Aedes aegypti or the yellow fever mosquito, because this is an over collection trap, overposition trap. They go to this. We have water and a germination paper inside. They come in and they deposit their eggs on the germination paper above the water. So then we can determine if they're in the area.
Wow, another phone call, Steve. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me with Steve Mulligan. What's your question?
Hi. I know we've got a lot of tourism, people coming from the valley, leaving the valley, going to Asia, coming from Asia, Southeast Asia, back to the valley. My question for your guest is, if one of these immigrants or one of these tourists returning from Asia has contracted dengue, let's say, or possibly yellow fever in Asia by a bite, can they be bitten here, and will the mosquito then transmit this blood-borne pathogen to others? Is that possible? Can it go from person to person that way?
That's our concern. It is transmission from an infected person. A mosquito will bite them. The proper mosquito, only certain mosquitoes can carry certain diseases. But if the Aedes aegypti mosquito bites a person infected with dengue and picks up that dengue virus, then after a few days, when it develops in the mosquito, it can bite another uninfected person and infect that person. That's a cause for worry for us, because in the past we didn't have that mosquito here. Now we do, so that when we have people coming back with these imported cases and we have the carrier here, that mosquito, there's a possibility for local transmission.
The question that I have, and I've always wondered, why don't these diseases kill the mosquitoes instantly? Instead of, they contract the disease, then they carry it, and then they bite a human or a cow or some kind of an animal, maybe a horse. Why doesn't it kill the mosquito?
Well, it's evolution. The mosquito and the disease have evolved. The disease, the virus, has evolved so that it can survive inside a mosquito and replicate and reproduce, and travel to the salivary gland. So the next time it bites, mosquito will inject this virus into a host. So it doesn't. There is a cost for the mosquito.
That's interesting. And so
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
My other question was, what are the symptoms? What do you look for if you may have contracted one of these serious bloodborne illnesses? What is it? Could you kind of outline that? Thank you.
Okay, I'm not a physician, but we don't have these local transmission of any of these diseases yet. But it's a worry and a concern, because we could, if we do have imported cases. But most of these start out with chills, fever, and they can develop into neurological diseases. But mostly it's chills and fever. The people and about every year we have 1 or 2 cases of people coming back with dengue from a dengue endemic area, coming back and experiencing problems. They consult their doctor, and we get noticed. Yeah.
I don't want to run out of time here. I do want to show the West Nile. We're looking at the mosquito-borne diseases, but I want to go to the West Nile mosquito. We've got pictures there. That is a West Nile mosquito. We've got 3 photos. Go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Again, this is a different different genus of mosquitoes. It's Culex, and these mosquitoes bite primarily during the evening from dusk until dawn, and they primarily feed on birds. West Nile virus is a disease of birds, transmitted by mosquitoes from bird to bird. However, if an infected mosquito bites a human, it can transmit that to a human.
Right. And it looks much different than the yellow fever mosquito, which is dark brown, black, and has the white.
They're different. They're different looking, but really it would take somebody familiar with them to determine one from the other. Some of these images show that the female laying its eggs on the surface of the water. That's another difference. These mosquitoes lay their eggs on the surface of water. The Aedes aegypti lays its eggs on a container right above the surface.
And in order to be able to lay the eggs, it needs blood. Yeah. So it needs to bite you first and then lay the eggs, correct? Without the blood, it can't lay the eggs?
Right. It needs the blood for the protein to develop the eggs, and that's where the problem is, because once it takes that blood meal, it can, if that individual, a bird, a human, has a disease, an infection, and viremia, it can pick up that, and then it can develop in the mosquito and then be transmitted.
We've got 1 minute left. Let's talk about the repellents right here on the desk.
Okay, it's important that people take precautions. If they notice mosquitoes around, whether it's in the evening or during the day biting, you should be using repellent to prevent mosquito bites.
Hold that up real quick to your camera. Okay. We'll take that shot of you.
Yeah, and these are just
hold different. Hold up higher.
Okay, these are different examples of repellents. There's DEET, which has been around for a long time. That's active ingredient DEET. There's picaridin, oil of lemon eucalyptus, and there's different formulations. You have spray-ons, you have lotions, and you have also you have wipes. And so there's a variety of different concentrations. Again, always read and follow the label directions when you're applying them, particularly if you're applying them to children.
DEET is most effective, though.
They're all recommended and effective, but DEET has been around the longest. It's kind of the gold standard, if you will.
Right. Steve, it's always good to see you. Thank you for informing the public, our audience, and us here in the studio. I appreciate it.
Well, you're quite welcome, John. I appreciate being invited again. I hope to return soon.
Yeah, I hope so. You're welcome here anytime. All right. Steve Mulligan of the Abatement District, the Consolidated Mosquito Abatement District here. And we're back with more of Connect with Me tomorrow. That's our program. Hope you have a good day. If you're watching Connect with Me, you must be watching Me TV.
Look at that. Isn't that a great layout? You son of a gun.
This campaign is no good.
No good!
Darren and Larry, the original Mad Men on Bewitched.